Hi everybody, welcome to today's kind of special video. Also, it's a weekend, woo, it's a Saturday! Alright, anyways, moving on. So today, as we always do every 3 months, especially in the month where it changes from one season into another, in terms of like temperature, like spring, summer, fall, that kind of stuff. Today, you already know what we're doing. You already know the title of the video. Today we're going to be briefly going over the current makeup of our federal government as of right now. Hopefully everything is still current and up to date by the time that it actually goes up the day this is being posted. Because this is being recorded 3 days early in advance. So hopefully everything's still correct by then. If not, then I'll have to re-record it at least the day prior. If at all. If not, then we're good. So we're going to go over each of the 3 branches of government. Like always, we always start with the legislative branch and Congress. Because, the Constitution says it's always first. And the Founding Fathers wanted it to be first. Alright, so anyways. Congress. We're currently in the 119th Congress. We're currently in the first session as of January of this year. And we're going to start with the upper house, which is the Senate. As of January 21st of 2025, this year, obviously, we have 53 Republicans, 45 Democrats, 2 independents that also kind of clause themselves with the Democrats, and no vacancies. So all 100 seats are filled. The President pro tempore, which is the most senior person of the majority party, is currently Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, who is a Republican. And by the way, he's 95. Yeah, he's 95 years old and still alive, and he's the 4th most powerful person in the government. Basically, what the President pro tempore does, basically they are the head person of the Senate in the absence of the Vice President, which is the President of the Senate. The Majority Leader is currently Republican John Thune of South Dakota. And the Minority Leader is currently Democrat Chuck Schumer of New York. Now, I did say that there are no vacancies, but there are going to be 2 special elections in 2 different states next year during the midterm elections. We have one in Florida and one right here in Ohio. For Florida, well, they had a special election because the sitting senator of Florida Class 3, it was Marco Rubio, but he had to resign to be Secretary of State. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And then here in Ohio, for Ohio 3rd class, which is, because, every state has 2 class senators. So every state has either a class 1 and 2 senator, a class 2 and 3 senator, or a class 1 and 3 senator. Ohio has a class 1 and 3 senator. And Ohio's class 3 senator just so happened to be J.D. Vance, who is currently the vice president. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. So both of those elections will take place on election day next year for the midterms. There are seatings, and they have been filled temporarily by the governors of both states, but the people will get to choose if they want to keep these people as a senator or they want to pick someone else. So it's really up to the people next year. Alright, over in the other side of the building, the House of Representatives. this is always the one that changes. I mean, if this little mini thing has always taught you guys. As of May 21st of this year, 2025, we have 220 Republicans, 212 Democrats, and 3 vacancies. All right. The Speaker of the House is currently Republican Mike Johnson of Louisiana 4th. The Speaker is pretty much the presiding officer of the House and is the 3rd most powerful person in the government, which means that if the President and the Vice President are somehow removed from office through death, resignation, or any otherwise, then the Speaker of the House would become President, which is a fair position to take over after the President and Vice President, because technically the Speaker is an elected official from the people. Even though the House can technically pick anyone they want to be the Speaker, they have always elevated one of their own to that position. So, the current majority leader is Republican Steve Scalise of Louisiana's 1st District. The minority leader is currently Democrat Hakeem Jeffries of New York's 8th District. Now, the vacancies. I have here written down all of the vacancies as they occurred, but they're kind of opposite on how they are, because if you flip them around, you can do it based on when their special elections happen. Just know that the earliest that these special elections will happen is in September, which just happens to be the next time we do one of these. So, yeah. Okay, so going in order of when the special elections will occur, we have Virginia 11. That special election will occur on September 9th. The incumbent, Jerry Connolly, died on the 21st of May. So, yeah. He was a Democrat, by the way. Arizona 7. That special election will take place on September 23rd. The Democrat holder, Raul Garjuava, I actually don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he died on March 13th. And Texas 18, which that special election will occur in November of this year, November 4th. Democrat Sylvester Turner died on March 5th. Which is weird because he was in the Capitol during Trump's State of the Union address the night prior, which I thought was kind of weird. So that is the current makeup of Congress. Not many changes happened, although allegedly there's supposed to be a Republican from Tennessee that's supposed to resign, depending on how the big beautiful bill is supposed to do in the Senate, since it just barely passed in the House a couple weeks ago. So we'll see exactly what happens, or if he's actually going to resign. So I'll keep an eye on all of that. All right, now we go to the presidential line of succession for the executive branch, because that's how we always do it. Literally everyone on the list except for the Speaker and Chief Justice, because we always like to throw in Chief Justice for fun. Everyone took office at some point in this year. So I will only list the dates with the year for the Speaker, and the Chief Justice. All right. That being said, President obviously is still Trump, January 20th, which just happened on January 20th. Vice President is still J.D. Vance. Speaker of the House is obviously Mike Johnson, who is a Republican. On the 25th of October of 2023, because that's when he was technically first elected in the House Speaker special election during all that craziness. Yeah, remember that? President pro tempore, like how I mentioned, is Republican Chuck Grassley on the 3rd of January. Marco Rubio is Secretary of State on the 21st of January, who, by the way, was unanimously elected by the Senate. He didn't even vote for his own confirmation, which is interesting, because, whatever. All right. Treasury, we have Scott Bessent on the 28th of January. Defense, we have Pete Hegseth, the 25th of January. Attorney General, Pam Bondi, on the 5th of February. Interior, we have Doug Burgum, the 1st of February. Agriculture, we have Brooke Rollins on the 13th of February. Commerce, we have Howard Lutnick on the 21st of February. Labor, we have Lori Chavez DeRemer on the 11th of March. Secretary of Health and Human Services, we have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on the 13th of February, who is an independent. Everyone else is a Republican, except for, Chief Justice. We'll get there when we get there here in a bit. Housing and Urban Development, on the 5th of February, we have Scott Turner. Transportation, we have Sean Duffy since the 28th of January. Energy, we have Chris Wright since the 4th of February. Which, is Chris Wright. Education, we have Linda McCannon on the 3rd of March. Veterans Affairs, we have Doug Collins since the 5th of February. And Homeland Security, since the 25th of January, Kristi Noem. And for fun, like how I always do, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, independent John Roberts. And he has held that title since the 29th of September of 2005. So he's coming up 20 years of being in office. Speaking of which, it's Supreme Court time! Woo! All right. So, we're going to start with the Chief Justice and work our way down to the most recent Associate Justice. So, like mentioned before, we have John Roberts, who is the Chief Justice. He was appointed by George W. Bush with a vote of 78-22, and he started his term on the 29th of September of 2005. Well, I really had to fight to not yawn there. Oh my god. Alright. Clarence Thomas, appointed by George H.W. Bush with a vote of 52-48. He's technically the most senior person in the Supreme Court to this day, but the Chief Justice has the overall supreme authority. But Justice Thomas has been in office since the 23rd of October of 1991. Next up, Samuel Alito, appointed by George W. Bush with a vote of 58-42, and he started his term on the 31st of January of 2006. Sonia Sotomayor, appointed by Barack Obama with a vote of 68-31. She started her term on the 8th of August of 2009. Alana Kagan, also appointed by Obama, with a confirmation vote of 63-37, and started her term on the 7th of August of 2010. Next up, Neil Gorsuch, appointed by Donald Trump, with a vote of 54-45, and he began his term on the 10th of April of 2017. Next, Brett Kavanaugh, also appointed by Trump, with a vote of 50-48, and he started his term on the 8th of October of 2018. Next, Amy Coney Barrett, also appointed by Trump, with a confirmation vote of 52-48, and she started her term on the 27th of October of 2020. And most recently, Ketanji Brown Jackson, appointed by Joe Biden, with a vote of 53-47, and she began her term on the 30th of June 2022. So she's coming up here in a couple days of her 3-year anniversary of starting her term as a member of the Supreme Court. That is all we have for today. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on July 1st for just an update video of what's going to go up for the month in July. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.